Hello friends, in this video I will be talking about the year 2022 from the point of view of Chinese calendar and Feng Shui. So this new year is the year of the water tiger and will have as the dominant principle yang from this yin-yang. So this is yang year. Year will begin on the February the 1st and will be ending on January 31st in the year 2023. Chinese people and all other nations in Asia who celebrate Chinese New Year are preparing for this all January already. So also if you are involved in Feng Shui, if you practice this, you should already be preparing for the next year. So many of those people who are who live in accord with the Chinese calendar, they are actually preparing new type of living that will come when the new relationship between the heaven and earth will be established, which is always happening at the beginning of a new year. So Feng Shui is basically the art of living, which derives its principle from this relationship between earth and heaven. And Feng Shui there is Feng Shui of the space and Feng Shui of time. And when we speak about Feng Shui of time, then we have to take in consideration the beginning of new year. It is always very important, and people arrange things differently in accord with the stars, or especially in accord with the school of the flying star, as they call it, and which starts for the new year. I will talk later about the flying star. With the help of Feng Shui, people usually harmonize their life generally. So if you work with Feng Shui, you can then use this art to change the relationship or to improve your relationship, your job condition, your health, finances, and everything else in life. I have courses of Feng Shui, but they're not in English, unfortunately. It is easy, basically, to learn this like basic rules, and then you can apply it and work with that in your space. You can basically change whatever you want to change by changing the environment. Well, I want to say that similar art existed among many other peoples in the world. Just the mythological and religious beliefs that were on the background of such art of living, these mythologies were different. And they were suppressed, even if many of countries of the world. But China respects these rules still. China is very much involved in this, and maybe even Chinese who are overseas Chinese on Taiwan and Hong Kong, even more than Chinese in Big China. They preserve this art and they respect it as it is part of their holistic philosophy of life. So they, in everything, basically rely, in everything what they do, they rely on the yin-yang and 5 elements theories. So the same principles are part of the medicine, history, music, politics, and everything else. And I hope indeed that we will return to holistic participation of, holistic perception, I wanted to say, that it will go back to this holistic perception of the reality as Chinese do, and that we will restore the old knowledge we have unfortunately suppressed in many of these Western countries. We say West from the China, everything is West. I have a few videos about Feng Shui on YouTube. One is, for example, Feng Shui and Health, and some others. So if you are interested in this way, how I explain Feng Shui, you maybe wish to watch all these older videos. So the year of the 2022 is the year of the Yang, dominant Yang, which means that the male principle dominates the female Yin principle. And that is quite good for us now, because we have behind us 2 years when the element of metal was very strong, jins as Chinese say, that's metal, and now we really need the dynamic of the yang, and we will have it. So when metal was strong, especially yin metal, the life stopped on this earth. This doesn't mean that this always happened, but now it happened when it was the metal year, especially in the metal yin year. So now Yang principle, we add dynamic to our life and also the element of water. We said it is a water tiger. So water is the most powerful element of the Taoist, in the Taoism of Taoists. And many people know that Taoists actually follow the dark path. When one studies characteristics of 5 elements, one must admit that they can be right, because water is really indeed very powerful. Why is it so? Well, first of all, water symbolizes the movement, and in Feng Shui, water part is the sector number 1, which is the north, where everything begins. So everything begins with water. And there is another very important quality of water, is when you split the water down on the floor, the water will find its way. So water can never be lost, it always finds its way. There are many other characteristics of water, so one can discuss whether is it good the light path, or the path of light, or the dark path, which is the path of Taoist, but I don't want to comment on that now. Indo-Europeans, of course, follow the light path, and both of those ways are correct, actually. So as the water symbolizes traveling, we can expect that the world will start moving again, that restrictions on people about traveling and moving around will lessen now from this year on. Now, when I record this in the end of June 2022, nothing looks like that, you know, but it will be at one moment. All those directors of this ridiculous happenings in the world in the next 2 years, they will actually they understand already that it will not work as they wanted, but they have a problem to say that, so they will keep some restrictions, but people will be more and more free. So I recorded the video about the year 2022 from the point of Western tropical astrology, and the name of this video is Walking on Water. So if you are interested, please check that video. I explained there that according to our tropical astrology, water element is also very strong. I talked there in that video about the conjunction of Jupiter in Neptune, which will happen in Pisces in April 2022, and I made there some historical parallels. It is quite certain that in 2022, collective feelings will emerge and be strong. We will be connected through our feelings. We will see what can we do with this. And for sure, because water is that strong, some change will appear relating to healing. Then also, because of the water, the fights between two world powers will be transferred to water, mainly America and Russia, and others are here also, but not that important. So far, they've been fighting through information, and it means through the air and on satellites, which is because of the eclipses that were happening on Gemini's Sagittarius axis in the last year and a half. But now they will fight more on water, which actually already started. And the year 2022 is the year when people will build bridges, and new alliances will appear this year also. Now, I talk about that in the mentioned video, so if you're interested, please check that video. And something similar in a way is indicated by Chinese calendar. The element of water is emphasized, which in combination with other present elements can be even dangerous. Yes, water is fine, but it can be even dangerous. So Chinese warn that there can be some troubles with weather or with the climate, but they often say that. Nevertheless, we know that those bandits from Davos, this city in Switzerland, that's how we call them, They're constantly announcing climate change, and of course they cause it. We are not going into the warmer and warmer period. Actually, we are cooling down. So all this is invented and created. And yes, some disasters can happen, and we already see them in the world, unfortunately. That's how they will work in the year and a half approximately. The year of the tiger itself, as Chinese say, starts loud and noisy and ends with whining and complaining. So nothing really funny. And Chinese people don't like this year. They generally don't like the year of tiger. But they don't want to say that. They always say, oh, it will be good for this and for that, and everyone will have some benefits. And that's really true. You know, always it's possible to see everything from that positive side. But the tiger is a wild animal, and it brings extreme situations, causes wars and various unexpected events. Those who know how to take risk will do well this year, and others will be shocked with that what happened. This year one should not react without thinking and should not react abruptly. So we should be as stable as possible. Fortunately, tiger in combination with the element of water has great intelligence. He knows how to analyze the situation in which he finds himself and to measure the restrictions of others. This year, the tiger will be, which is the year of the tiger, but it will be less like, how to say, disruptive than maybe some other tiger years. But when we look at this year from that what we'll now see in the world, it doesn't seem so. But it should be. It should not be that dangerous as sometimes are this year's tiger years. But let's remember that the element of water will significantly how to say, will count down significantly. This is what is happening now in the world, because now we are already going through the first planetary war. This is not the world war, this is planetary war. And this is maybe the first world war that we know, or planetary war, that is against all humanity. We did not have experiences with such things. So it is possible that water element will count this a little bit, even if it's dangerous. Yes, the situation is not easy, but what is very important is that people will be much more active this year than they were before. In previous years, we have talked about the fact that energy slowly wakes up, how the time passes, and how when the element of water appears, we said in previous years, it will be better for us. Well, now is the water year, and next year, 2023, is the water rabbit year. You know, it will be even better. And then the wood appears, and we really need wood to wake up and to finish all these ridiculous things that are happening, and which did not start with the disease in question. It started earlier, much earlier actually, 2008. So in the year 2024, that will be the year of the wooden dragon, which is a very special thing. After that, 2025, wooden snake, that can also be a very good year. And the top, 2026, fire horse year, when definitely new life can appear on this earth, if we don't destroy it. But it seems that we will not. I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but what to say? It is interesting that the wood element is born already now in the year of the tiger. Why? Because the tiger itself has wood as its permanent element, according to Chinese zodiac. So already things start moving, not just because of water, but because this is the beginning, very early beginning of wood. So everything is gaining momentum with this, and we are moving from this deadlock position. All structures will be less and less powerful. We will see that in the year, during this year, next year, and new structures will be established more and more rapidly. That's why some kind of a war is also now more visible. It is not just about this bio war and information war, now they fight indeed. So we have talked in previous years about the Chinese learning from the past. Maybe you remember this. So the Chinese calendar has a cycle of 60 years, and they always look back what happened in the same year with the same element. So we can look back and see what was happening in the past in the year of the water tiger, or they also say black tiger, which is even more scary. So the last time, that was the year 1962, before 1902, and then 1842, and so on in the past. So we see that the Cold War between America and Soviet Union broke out in 1962, which was also the water tiger year. And we also see that Cuba was sanctioned because the Soviets set up their weapons there. The same year with sanctions problem was solved, but weapon was there, and Cuba was very important for the Soviets at that time. And in the same year, the Americans sent a large number of troops to Vietnam to start the Vietnam War later on. And now, of course, it is possible that Russians will react to the attacks of NATO. Attacks are more and more at the end of 2021. We saw many of those things happening from the Black Sea especially. And Russia is also surrounded with NATO, and NATO and America are trying to make war in any of those countries who are around. So now Russians have to react, and it is possible that they will put their weapon somewhere next to the border of the USA, possibly again at Cuba Island, maybe in Venezuela or some other countries. They're already speaking about that. So again, the things are repeating. Of course, America again has a lot of army around Russia and a lot of armies in Taiwan also. So when water strengthens, when water strengthens, even we can say maybe, as an element, when water is strong, then always earth is weak. So water strengthens, earth weakens. And that means that we do not have enough stability when earth is not strong enough. Thus we find that also in the year 1962, there were many accidents in the traffic especially. You can check that on YouTube, on the internet, if you want to see if that really was such. And what we learned from the past is that we now need to build stability. We need to build the stability in ourselves. We need to be careful with that, what we do. And we need to try to maintain normal state of living, regardless of the fact that we are all in a very difficult situation. When we look at what happened earlier, we see that Cuba as an island gained independence also in 1902. So look, Cuba was very, things were happening, important things were happening on Cuba in 1902, which was also the water tiger year. It is the question, did always something happen there when it was water tiger? And most probably yes. And then when we go more in the past, we see that in 1842, there was a peace treaty between China and United Kingdom. It was signed in Nanjing, and that was the end of the First Opium War. But we also see that the same year, Britain annexed Hong Kong. They took Hong Kong from China. And now it is possible that there will be many events of such in China or in Taiwan. China did not return Taiwan as they expected in 2012. And the question is, are they going to fight now there? Or maybe Chinese would wait for the year 2024, which is the year of the dragon, to take Taiwan in that time. We will see. It should always be repeated what British and other colonizers did in this world, did around the whole world, because those old colonizers, they present themselves nowadays as the greatest democrats and liberals. Something like democracy does not exist. I explained that in some of my videos. We live in plutocracy, which now they want to change for technocracy. We do not as people choose anything, and it is really time to understand that. It is just enough for the beginning to understand that. Then later we will see what to do. So I came, for example, across the fact that about 120 million Chinese people were killed by opium, so by using narcotics against them, in the 19th century in opium wars. And China is still used for the needs of colonizers, globalists, or the cult, you can call them as you want. And they do there in that country still whatever they want. And now they present to the world that China is spreading communism everywhere and attacking others. But the truth is that communism was implanted in China in the 20th century by the same structures who were destroying this country in 19th centuries and who are doing the same thing with this technocratic system nowadays in the beginning of the 22nd century. So China is simply occupied now as it was before. The difference is maybe in that now Chinese people get more money, or some of them, and they love money, unfortunately. So what is interesting for us now is to ask ourselves, can something like that be repeated, like that what was happening in China, opium war? For example, is it possible that just like in that time they were using opium, they maybe use now some drugs to kill people around the world? And if that is possible, I will leave you to think about that. What that drug can be in those years. Well, we said that although China will see this year in the best possible way, the year of the water tiger, they still know that it's dangerous. It is because they also Chinese identify themselves with the dragon, and they see the West as the tiger. And they are afraid of the tiger. And they say that this year we should all be careful and watch who is behind us. This year is especially significant for those who are born in the year of the tiger. And those people are born in the year 2010, 1998, 1986, 1974, 1962, 1950, 1938, 1926, and so on in the past. The lucky numbers this year will be 1, 3, and 4, generally speaking, but always depend on the personal horoscope. And Chinese say that they should avoid numbers 6, 7, and 8. I'm not sure if that will work for everybody, but I just say what I learned. And Chinese who are born in this year of the tiger, this year we wear amulets to protect themselves in the period that will certainly bring them change. So all of the people who are born in the year of the tiger will experience some sort of a change this year. Will maybe make some important decisions. Like one cycle ends and the new 12-year cycle will begin. But what is good here, it is that potentially tiger people can have more money. And you know the Chinese always speak about luck and money. So now money is there waiting for tigers. What kind of people were born in the year of the tiger? Let's see that. They consider them powerful and strong, unconquerable, passionate and brave. People often respect them out of fear. One must be afraid of tiger. But the tiger is also the symbol of protection, of home and children, because all evils escape from it, as Chinese mythology says. And that's why their kids have these caps and the gloves usually to imitate the tiger, because when they are little tigers, nothing can happen bad to them. The tiger likes to be in the center of attention, and they also very, very often infect everybody else around them with their lovely temperament and this lovely energy they have. Tigers are often bohemians. They do not care about material side of life, and they're not worried about it, how they will survive. So they like to drink a little bit, to enjoy life, and to do those crazy things. They're very much bothered by restrictive traditional rules, and they don't like to act in accordance with the rules. So you see, it's a good time for us as people to act against those ridiculous rules that they implemented in the world. Tigers' emotions are very strong. They oscillate in one day from 1 to 0, from 0 to 100, you know, just going like that with their emotions, and many people cannot follow that, you know. It's actually, for the environment, sometimes they're very hard to be with. Of course, there are 5 types of tiger. We said now this is water tiger, which is not that destructive. It's not calm also. So what professions flourishing this year? This year, people who are who work in communication field, like in medias or through internet, sell things and so on, they will be successful. It will be quite good year for transport, any kind of transportation, even for traveling. Maybe start traveling more, as we said, most probably. And everything that is connected with water, selling liquids, any kind of liquids will be fine. And also dealing with finances and strange transactions. This will be the year of very strange transactions. So if you are not afraid, you can do that things. What colors are happy this year? Since this year is the water year, then black and blue are going to be very popular colors and will protect us and bring luck and happiness. But also wood is awakened, so some of green is also fine, but we don't need it actually. We actually need that what is not presented in the magic square or in the calendar. And that's what we miss this year is metal and fire. So lucky colors will be metal colors like silver and gold, and also this white. White is metal color. And also all shades of red will be fine. However, if somebody wants to gain more money, then black and blue are recommended. How to stay healthy this year? Strong water weakens the kidneys and bones, so we should stay in warm, we should wear warm clothes, eat more fish or seafood, goat cheese perhaps, to protect our kidneys. Since water gives birth to wood, then for some people can have trouble with the wood element. That means that their liver will work too hard, too much. And liver can be trouble, especially in people who are energetic and who are constantly in the move. So to strengthen the liver and to have a good mood and maybe to have good eyesight, which is also connected with liver, one should eat a bit sour food and also green vegetables, especially green vegetable that is in green color. All of those things you can find on internet if you want to eat in accord with the 5 elements. And now let's see what the School of the Flying Star is saying. This school is very important for Feng Shui because this Flying Star school rules are projected to the magic square, which is used for the orientation in the space we live or we work in. So what does it say? Potentially we are all in danger because the star, which they call 5 yellow, this year is in the center of the place. So 5 yellow are in the sector number 5 in the magic square, which is the central part of the home or working space, any space. So the Feng Shui's recommend that we should not renovate anything in the central sector of the house. We should keep this place empty a little bit and not visit it too often. If somebody sleeps here, the people should stop sleeping here. Anyway, it's not good area for sleeping. The center is never good for sleeping, not for cooking also. But this year is especially bad. So we should avoid this space and make it calm and clean. Chinese will be putting here heavenly protection and pagodas. But I'm not recommending this just like that because this does not mean anything to some of us. So maybe the best thing is that you put there some heavenly protection, which means something to you or to your culture or your religion. The central area or central sector is also connected with the heart. So maybe you can put there some symbol of the heart if that makes sense for you. The direction in which the so-called unfortunate stars are southwest, west, east, and north. And these directions should be avoided. So we should not sleep and stay longer in these areas of our apartment or home. And we should not travel to those directions. But it is not dangerous for everybody in the same way. So those who will really need to be careful not to stay too long in these sectors or not to travel to these directions are sheep, monkey, rooster, mouse, and rabbit. In Chinese, of course, astrology. But everybody should avoid this space. So if one has the bedroom there, should not sleep there, or maybe change the bedroom. And if the main entrance is there, Feng Shui's recommend to use another entrance. Now, of course, many people have only one, so the trouble is what to do. Well, you can put some amulets there and keep this entrance clean all of this year, and perhaps never be too noisy when you enter or when you go out. We should not wake up this energy more than is necessarily. That's what they do. Their lucky directions are northeast, northwest, southeast, and south. And generally everybody is potentially lucky if he goes there or if he stays in his apartment in these sectors. But these lucky stars who are in these sectors will especially be beneficial to people who are born in the year of ox, tiger, dragon, snake, horse, dog, and boar. They will be lucky if they stay in these positive sectors. They work there or if they sleep there. Although those signs, like all of other signs, should use symbols and amulets to strengthen specific sectors that are positive and to suppress the negative sectors that can probably be negative in a way. So I wish you to be lucky with arranging your new space. I do not say many details here because this video should be too long, and also always depend on us, on our culture, which symbols and amulets to use. And if you want to discuss that, we can talk and make some changes in your apartment, your space. You are free to order personal consultations with me based on Feng Shui, and we will discuss these things. So that's all for now that I wanted to tell you. Everything that I do you will find on my webpage, symbolicthinking.net. All of the links and recommended YouTube videos and other things are under this video on YouTube. On my web pages, you will also find online astrology course for beginners. This is Tropical Astrology for Beginners. I recommend it very much to everybody. And if you like this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. And I thank you very much for that. I wish you a very happy Chinese New Year. As they say, 新年快乐，身体健康，都好啊。So be very happy, be strong this year. I wish to all of the Feng Shuis to be creative, to be successful, and see you soon.